Get ready, Power Gamers. This is our very first session where we introduce all of the characters and then explore the island. Let's move over to Double T Tanya. Tell me a little bit about your character.
Well, my name is Double Ttanya. I am a Kalashtar, so I'm like kind of humanish, but not really. I'm more of like a dreamer type of person.
Mm.
I'm gonna be playing a paladin. No, a cleric. Sorry, not a paladin. I'm playing a cleric.
Oh, you're a cleric.
Yeah, I'm a cleric.
Well, I gotta change that.
Yeah.
All right, so you're a cleric.
I am a cleric for the Church of Eternal Water.
That's right. Okay, so let's take a look at the story that led up to you becoming a cleric for the Church of Eternal Water. Now, unlike everyone else, your story begins on this island in the outskirts. In fact, you grew up here. This sort of poverty is what you know. It's as familiar to you as the air you breathe. And one of the things you had to learn hard, very quickly, was that no one out here cares for you. They don't care if you live or die. They'll let you die in the street. They don't care. But you found safety among one person. In fact, the only person who offers safety to anyone in the outskirts, the Rat King. It sounds unlikely, but the Rat King himself takes in orphans, stragglers, children, because there is no social safety net out here. He takes them in, he feeds them, and he gives them water, shelter, in exchange for teaching them to steal. This environment is where you grew up. Tell me about that.
Well, I mean, my parents didn't really like me. They are like, "Oh, you're not our child," trying to like shove me off. So I'm just like, "Okay, fine. I'll just go do my own thing." And I mean, it's hard for like a kid to go do their own thing in like a town, can't really work, can't really do anything.
It's true.
And I mean, you meet other kids that are on the street, and word gets talking, hey, there's this guy who will like take care of you, and he'll like give you food, water, he'll give you like a place to stay. And they said that he cares about you. And I mean, that was good enough for me.
They sure did say that.
Hmm.
And as you spent more time in the Rat King's company, you spent more time among his kin, and you spent time learning, training to become useful to him and to the Rat Pack so that you could be better taken care of. In fact, you found that when you were able to bring in things of value, you were even paid, which was nice. It was kind of a mundane existence that you had with the Rat King until the day that you discovered you had better options in the form of magic. You see, in this world, magic is incredibly coveted. It's rather rare. It's why the health potions are so pricey, along with healing magic in general. It's why clerics and paladins, anyone with any sort of magic capacity, is instantly snatched up by either the church or the coalition of guilds in order to be trained at great expense, and then they have to pay that expense off in service to their institutions, whether that is the Arcanium or the Church of Living Water. The day your powers manifested, what happened?
Well, the Rat King took a huge liking to that because that means that he can charge a lot more. Instead of like doing health potions, we actually got a healer on our side now.
Oh, yeah, it was incredible. You were his prized possession. Suddenly, not only did he didn't have to steal, you know, sneak around trying to snip the crumbs of healing magic from the noble circle. He had it straight from the source.
Hmm. And then he made me feel wanted and everything and just made me feel special, which was great because that's exactly what I wanted. Since, I mean, my parents didn't care about me. I wanted someone who could like care and everything.
That's
But
true.
I mean, his caring only goes so far when the church found out and offered him a bunch of money if he sold me over to them.
Indeed, they did. And
He did.
unfortunately, he was not able to resist. Yeah,
No.
the price that they put on your head, well, it certainly was fitting of the Church of Eternal Water. They are by far the most rich and prominent religion in the entire city,
Hmm.
and it is said that no one turns them down. So he didn't, and he got well paid, and you were shifted from a life of freedom into a life of servitude. But it turns out that you had a lot of time to reflect on truths. Maybe you realized that he only cared about you insofar as he could use you. And maybe you realized that these church people are trying to help others in their own way. I'm not sure. How did it feel?
I mean, it felt different. Like at the church, I definitely learned more about like the water, where it came from, all the storms that ravaged this world, and I also learned how to read the stars from Papa Stormbright.
That's
And
true.
so from there, I realized that,
Let's hold on for a second
oh,
because you did learn an incredible amount from the Church of Living Water.
eternal
Not
water.
only, yeah, sorry, the Church of Eternal Water. Excuse me. Not only did you learn about this world, you learned more than really most people on the island have access to because knowledge is not free and they do not pay for it, nor do they have the money. You learn that this world itself is almost 85% water. The
Hmm.
land masses here are islands at best, and they are few and far between. This civilization on this island is a trade post between two incredibly far island nations that are both under Cog authority. The weather of this world is peculiar in that because there's so much water, there's so much in the way of storms. The seasons here alternate between 3 months of what they call sailing season, where the weather is smooth, the skies are clear, and the waves are fine, and then 3 months of stormy season, where it would be very foolhardy to sail during that weather, especially if it suddenly gets dark overhead. You know there are such things as rogue waves, tornadoes, hurricanes, monsters of the deep, mermaids, and all sorts of other horrors in this uniquely dangerous water world. And because of that, you start to feel a connection to many things. A connection that is fostered by your budding friendship with your mentor at the church, Papa Stormbreaker. Tell me about him.
Well, he is like this super, super old guy. And he just like tells about the glory days of him rescuing this princess from like this monster because he's like such this big badass paladin, and he always makes me like want for adventure and just like saving people from the monsters, the bad guys. It's like usually the same story over and over and over again, just a different princess, a different monster.
A more amazing feat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. The time that you spend with him, you eat up every word he says. he he really does care about you, and it's through this relationship that you start to experience what that means to have someone actually care about you for you. um, as a mentor, he teaches you not only your innate value, but also the value of listening to yourself, of exploring your mind, your consciousness, and the way you interact with things. You spend many nights, many days talking, stargazing, and through this, you seem to develop a particular talent. Tell me about that.
Well, I can read the stars,
You can
and
read the stars.
I can read the stars.
How does that work?
And well, I just see these star signs, and everyone has their own star sign. And based off of that, like you can totally tell like their entire personality and everything.
Really? So you
Hmm.
you've spent years with the church after you've expended your healing magic, purification magic for the day. Your time is yours, and you spend it with Papa Stormbreaker, talking, sharing stories, gazing at the stars, and discussing what it all means. The connections between the stars, between us, the people, the water, their alignment. And you
Yep.
start to develop this, well, we might call it a horoscope, but a catalog of omens or signs, star signs that give you a sort of omen or insight into people who fall under these signs. It's a strange thing to be able to look at the stars and know something about someone who is born under that star sign. But you feel as you harmonize both with yourself, with the eternal water around you, and with your purpose, you find that you are able to learn so much more. Tell me about this entire catalog of omens you have, because this is real. You actually made a horoscope for D&D. Is that right?
I really did.
Tell me about that.
Oh, well, each there's like 12 star signs based off of like each month of the year. And of course, I'm a unicorn because I'm just so magical and mythical. And I just know that I'm like super special, that like I'm just people born under the sign of the unicorn are just special. Like they're meant to do something greater.
Good-hearted, special, magically inclined.
I mean, maybe not
Very
good
interesting.
hearted,
Oh
but
no?
no.
Oh,
I mean, unicorns can stab people.
I suppose that's true. Well, tell me about some of these other ones you got.
Well, I mean, we got like a kobold, we got a
There's a,
star.
there's a kobold star sign.
There's a kobold star sign. There's a mimic star sign,
Really?
a beholder. You got an owl bear, a gelatinous cube. You
Whoa.
have a phoenix, a
Oh.
lich, a unicorn, of course,
A
and
lich.
a dragon. And then, depending on the dragon, where it is placed in the sky, you could be different versions of that dragon.
Oh wow. So you've even got like things that are in retrograde.
Hmm. And then you got
Wow.
like a Tarask, and then you have a Sphinx, and then you have the Kraken.
God dang. All right, well pick just one of those and tell me more about it, and then we'll move on.
Okay, well, let's see. Well, the gelatinous cube, like if someone's born under that star sign, they're transparent and predictable.
Ooh, wow, that's good.
Hmm.
I like that. Dang.
Yeah, like you can just easily tell what they're gonna do. Like they, it's just so obvious.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow, I love it.
Hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's fantastic. I can't wait to see that interplay more in as the sessions go on. Okay, so as you spend these years developing this catalog of omens, you find that your ability to understand innately certain things about the personalities of those you interact with, in addition to your magical prowess and your dedication to the research that you've engaged in, you find that the church eventually places a high amount of importance in you. One day, in fact, you're eventually promoted, or rather, called to a higher position as the water warden. You are in charge of making sure that the water reserves, because the church has giant reserves of water that they keep as stock for the stormy seasons, to sell to other ships, to merchants, that kind of stuff. You're in charge of making sure that stuff A stays purified and B is handed out and rationed out to individuals in the outskirts of the city appropriately. Now, once you find yourself in this position of power, though it is a burden and it certainly is tedious, you realize that you're in a position to change something. And as you think back on your life, you realize the one thing that you wish maybe would have been different or could be different, just could be different. And so you've developed the Order of the Dewdrops. What is that?
Well, the dewdrops are our initiates, our little initiates who come to the church and they pass out the water after each sermon. So, in order for the people of the town to get water, they have to listen to a sermon about our blessed storm world and our blessed storm gods who bring us this wonderful water which we live off of, and then they are able to have a cup of water.
That's right. Not only are they allowed to have water, they help you distribute water to the congregation, but it also provides a safety net for them, a
Hmm.
place for them to go, a way for them to get extra water, a thing for them to do that is not crime. Um, and you find that so many of these kids are grateful, but there are quite a number of them as well who seem to still get swept up with the Rat King. How do you take that?
Well, I mean, I just hope that they'll learn, like I learned, that he's just not a good person.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
that's
there's
fair.
there's not much I can do. I just warned them to be wary of him and that what he promises just is not real and concrete, but everything with this church is. And so you should better yourselves to become a part of this church so you can like live your life prosperously and fulfill your destiny.
It's a beautiful sentiment, you know. You've kind of come full circle. You strangely recognize the resilience in the eyes of these children as it used to be the resilience in your eyes when you were a child being spoken to and told what to do by an adult who believes they have the moral authority to deny you the freedom to do what you wish. And it works about as effectively as it did for you. You find one kid specifically. His name is Stephen. He is probably the most troublesome member of the Dewdrops. Uh, he's fallen in bad with the Rat King. I mean, bad. Not just larceny and stealing and pickpocketing, petty crimes. Rumors are that he's stabbed some people. He may have killed for the Rat King. He's a young kid. I mean, you do your best to counsel him, I assume, but he just doesn't listen to you. You just can't reach these kids. And as you struggle, the class goes on. You know, days continue. You show the Dewdrops a portrait of the Storm Father, who is believed to be the god that watches over the. Oh, wait a minute. Those should not be there. Yeah. You find yourself watching over, or explaining and showing the Storm Father, the watcher, the patron of your church that provides cleansing and purifying water, but also vengeful and just lightning and thunder. It is kind of a strangely uncomforting and yet comforting image for people who live in your circumstance to know that there is some giantly powerful figure of inevitable justice that will make things right. And it is it's a calming thing, it's a beautiful thing, but it's something that the dewdrops who are involved with the Rat King seem to ignore, to the point where you find yourself one night having yet another stargazing chat with Papa Stormbreaker, looking at the stars, talking about cataloging different omens, personality traits, synthesizing new signs. And all of a sudden, as you and he were laying on the grass behind the church, just enjoying the stars, you hear a frantic knocking, slamming, clawing at the front doors of the church. What do you do?
Well, I mean, we don't really get that very often, so I just like rush down the stairs to be like, oh my gosh, who is this at like this time of night to disrupt the star sign reading?
How dare this was not in the stars. As you rush down, you fling the door open, and eventually Papa Stormbreaker makes it down too with his old paladin knees. And you see a woman who you recognize instantly. Um, it is Steven's mom, or as the Rat King calls him, Stabby Steve. It is his mom, and she is, her face is covered in tears. She looks distraught. She goes, please, please, you have to help me. Stephen hasn't been home. I thought he was here at the church, but there's no one else here. He told me he was doing a church event.
Um, when did he say he was doing this?
Tonight.
Tonight? That's right. There is a church event going on, and I'm so sorry. He'll be coming back tomorrow morning at the latest. We have to hold him overnight and everything. We're so busy. I'm so sorry we didn't tell you.
Okay, roll a deception check. Oh, this is risky.
It's so risky.
Yes! Oh my god, our first natural one, and it's you lying to a grieving mother. I'm so happy. Wow. What a time to one. That is just the best thing
It's
I've
the
ever heard.
best time to win.
Oh my god. So you say that. Should I wait a second to make sure no one's going to give you inspiration, or should we just continue?
Just go.
Okay.
Just go.
Just go. All right. As you say that, she moves to slap you across the face. Do you try and avoid it?
No, I take it.
You take it. She slaps you across the face. And though Papa Stormbreaker is wearing an almost impenetrable helm, you can feel him frown. That's your lie.
Yeah.
She says, why would you lie to me? I know he's not here. It's not just him. Some of the other dewdrops have gone missing too. I went over to their houses. Where are our children?
Okay, well, I didn't want to like alarm you, but I do have an idea of where they are. It's like not the best. That's why I figured like saying that they're part of a church thing is probably the best. You don't want to know that they might actually be doing something really bad.
I I don't care. I don't care what they're doing. I just want them home.
Well, I'll go find where they are, and I'll try to bring them home.
You'll try? Are they in danger?
I don't know.
What What do you mean you don't know? I thought you knew where they were.
Yeah, I know where they are, but I don't know if they're in danger or not.
Okay, I'll fine. Well, fine. I'm going with you. And I'll bring the other mothers as well.
I don't think you're gonna like it.
All right, go ahead and roll for me either a persuasion or intimidation.
Oh gosh. Which one's better?
Oh God, please intimidate this grieving mother after you lied to her face.
All right, let's
You are my
do
favorite
it.
cleric.
I'm totally intimidating, guys.
Okay. So with your 8, you say, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. She goes, I am well past worrying what you think is a good idea. I'm going right now. I'm going to get the other moms and we're coming with you. And she
Okay,
storms
don't
off.
say I didn't warn you.
Fair enough. She storms off, leaving just you and Papa Stormbreaker at the moment. There's a moment of silence before he speaks and says, do you think this is wise?
No, that's why I tried to warn her away.
Tell me
Is-
what your star signs, your omen reading says. I want to know.
I don't know. It's very confusing. It says that something bad is either coming or is already come. I don't know. It's just, it says that there's a great storm coming and it's going to be breaking against our shores.
I fear you may be right. You usually are. If the children are missing, it's likely that, well, they are the most vulnerable among us. Something bad must be happening. I suppose this could be more of the Rat King's doing. Or it could be something else. Which do you think?
Well, I think the Rat King is involved on some level.
Very well. May I make a recommendation to you?
Yes, please.
You will never hear me recommend it again publicly, but I think you should leave before they get back. They will endanger themselves and you.
They will. Thankfully, they do not know where I'm going.
I truly don't either, but I prefer it that way. May the thunder guide you, and the water cleanse your wounds.
And the lightning strike hard and fast and shine where it's supposed to go.
He nods his head. So where are you going?
Well, I know the back entrance into the Rat King's domain. I go through
That's
the
true.
sewers.
You know, however, that it is very heavily guarded by the Rat Pack, and they don't know you. It's been a long time since you went through there, so they would very likely attack you on sight.
Darn it, you're right. Well, we'll just have to go through the front like everyone else.
Ah, aggravating and
So
dehumanizing indeed.
aggravating.
But you make your way to the entrance of the Rat King. It's a warehouse you've seen dozens of times, or a storehouse rather. You know that underneath it lies a series of tunnels in which the Rat King and his rat pack are able to circumvent the walls of the city. But as you enter here, you see again an invisible horde of people, and the 3 members, Bojangles, Lothiriel, and Winheim. Well done, Power Gamer. You've safely made it to the end of the video. Congratulations. Thanks for hanging out with us, and a very special thank you to our supporters on Patreon. Thank you to our Patreon founders whose incredible generosity humbles us. Thank you to the legends, guild members, and all of the official Power Gamers whose love and support makes this channel possible. If you like what you saw, let us know by leaving a like, comment, subscription, donation, sharing the video with your friends. Check out all the links below, and we'll see you Saturday on Twitch for the next Legends of Lyria.